down. Woo! And Rutland. Can't forget about the rut, you know what I mean? Shout out to the rut. Good to see you guys again. Hi there. Hi, I'm Paul Myrehaug, Canadian born. Live along the Mediterranean in France, and if you've ever traveled over there, you would know the men in the Mediterranean are quite aggressive. If a lady walks by, quite often what they'll do is some catcalling. They'll be like, hey, mon amour, tu es très fait chaud, hey, pouton, viens, viens, whoa, 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 whoa. Not in our culture as Canadians. We don't do that. And I thought it's because we don't want our ladies feeling uncomfortable on the streets. That's what I thought. And then I thought further, and that's not it at all. It's just with our accents, I think catcalling would be highly unsuccessful. You know what I mean? Just doesn't sound right. Like, hey, bud. Oh, I want to fucking bang ya. Oh, yeah. You look like McDavid on a breakaway. Holy moly. Bar down, bud. Bar down. Bar down. She was top cheddar, that one. That's not sexy, is it, young lady? That's weird. Moved over there 8 years ago. That's how long I've been with Cecile. Successful marriage, 8 years. She, yeah, clap for her. She's not here. Clap for her. Go ahead. She does not speak English, and I don't speak French. So, that's the secret, everybody. Zero communication. That is the secret. If you're struggling in your marriage, just shut your goddamn mouth for a couple of years. That's what I think you should do. Watch that bad boy turn right around, you know? I never want Cecile to learn English, ever. I am actively fighting against it at all times, okay? Constantly messing with her brain. The other day we were walking, she's like, look at the leaves on that tree. Those are quite beautiful. I'm like, honey, those are sleeves. It's sleeves on a tree, okay? Toronto maple sleeves. I don't know how many times we've gone through this. What the hell? I got no trust with her anymore. Good example, our buddy Pete on the show here got married in Las Vegas. We were invited for the ceremony. I was in the hotel room getting ready with Cecile, and I asked her, I said, it's quite hot out there today. And she's like, oh, it's Vegas, it's very hot. I said, oh, in that case, I'm gonna put on my wife beater. I'm gonna wear my wife beater under my suit then. And my French wife said, what the hell did you just say? And as a Canadian, I've never thought about that before. That is horrific, everybody, right? We are actively saying wife beater. That's what we're doing. In fact, we don't even know another word for that article of clothing. It's been a wife beater our entire lives. Cecile wouldn't believe me. She's like, there's no way Canadians call that a wife beater. I'm like, you will listen to me when I talk about Canadian heritage. Don't make me roll up my leaves! That was aggressive, wasn't it, young lady? That was aggressive. You guys are all right. After the wedding, we took a hiking trip to the Grand Canyon. If you've ever been to the Grand Canyon, you would know as soon as you arrive there, they start driving a phrase into your head over and over again. You get to the park gates, they say, welcome to the Grand Canyon. Just remember, down is optional, but up is mandatory. Ha ha ha. Have fun out there. And the reason they say it 1,000 times is they are tired of the amount of rescues. There's an average of 236 rescues per year at the Grand Canyon. People forget how strenuous it is to get out of there. So, me and the wife chose a trail called Skeleton Point, is where we went, all right? 15 kilometers into the Grand Canyon, 15 kilometers out. And if you ever go, what you're gonna see is the further you go into the Grand Canyon, the more beautiful the people become, okay? Because only the healthy, young, strong ones make it low, you know what I mean? All the weak, feeble, Krispy Kreme Americans don't even go into the Grand Canyon. They don't go in there. They show up, but they stay on their scooters at the top like, We were in trouble. We got to Skeleton Point. We were by far the ugliest people in the Grand Canyon, all right? We finally saw a couple our age, and we were like, oh my God, they're in their 40s, look at them. And they approached us and said, did you bring any extra fucking water? So we turned around, started hiking out of there. About 1 kilometer from the top, my wife's legs stopped working. They just stopped working, okay? And she fell over on the trail, all right? Like a fainting goat. Ah! Gone. And after I finished laughing, I assessed the situation. I had to get another couple of gentlemen around me to help me. We carried her like a wounded hockey player out of the Grand Canyon, all right? Next day, we decided to take a hiking break, little pool day at the hotel. And my poor wife was walking around the pool area like Frankenstein. Her knees would not bend. She was walking like this. And she felt like everybody was laughing at her, judging her, making fun of her. And I don't want that for my wife, so I eventually stood up and made an announcement for everybody at the pool area. I just said, relax, everybody, relax. It's our honeymoon. So, just been chucking thunder down there, you know what I'm talking about? Took her down to Skeleton Point last night, you know what I mean, boys? I mentioned I'm 40 in that joke. That is a lie. I'm actually 42. That's how old I am. And a lot of people struggle when they get into their 40s. They don't like it. I love it. I'm leaning into it. A lot of things I can do now I never used to be able to do. For instance, now I'm able to tell random stories to strangers in grocery stores. I'm allowed to do that, okay? I'm 40. At any time in a grocery store, I can just be like, I was at the doctor today! Plantar fasciitis, that's what I have, everybody. Just picking up some grapes. And you have to listen to me, that's the rules. Right? Another great thing, manscaping, don't have to worry about that anymore. It's over for me. No one's fucking looking down there anymore, it doesn't matter. I'm letting it go as long as possible. That's what I'm doing. I'm braiding it. That's what I'm up to now. I'm braiding it. Making friendship bracelets for all you Swifties out there. That's what I'm up to. It's a lot of fun, right? But my favorite thing about being 40 is I'm going to show you right now. You're a beautiful young lady. How you doing, young lady? Excellent. Yeah, not too bad. Are you enjoying the show? That's lovely. Thank you so much for coming tonight. We really appreciate it. My name's Paul, and it's very nice to meet you. There you go. That's what I love about being 40, everybody. Right there. I can now talk to beautiful young ladies. I can do that because sex is off the table. It is over. She wouldn't bang me in 1,000 years. It's over. I can do anything I want. I am nothing to her. And it's so freeing, you know? The other day I was on an elevator going down and the doors suddenly opened and a gaggle of beautiful young ladies came onto the elevator. One of them right away was like, oh my God, what's that smell? Well, in my younger days, I would have been mortified, but now that I'm 40, I can finally just tell the truth. I was like, oh, that smell, young lady, that's a tiger bomb. That's what that is, tiger bomb. She was like, what's tiger bomb? I'm like, oh, tiger bomb is a pain moisturizing cream that old people put on the small of our backs after we're done fucking. That is a tiger bomb. Welcome to your future, young lady. This is what old men smell like. You smell? Get a whiff of that. Get a whiff of that. Old man Tiger Bomb juice. I think that'd be a good vape juice. Old man Tiger Bomb juice. I think that'd be great. I quit vaping. Which no one ever, not one person ever clapped for that. You ever notice the difference between cigarettes? You quit smoking cigarettes, you're a hero. People are like, oh my God, good for you. It's harder than heroin. You know? You quit vaping, people are like, oh, I didn't realize you were an 11-year-old girl. That's an amazing thing. Quite an accomplishment. How brave of you to get off of the strawberry lemonade unicorn. Mango juice, you know? I quit vaping because I had walking pneumonia, is what I had. And I didn't go to the doctor. I waited 3 months. I waited till it got to the point where I was laying down and I couldn't breathe. And I finally went to the doctor. And the first thing the doctor asked me, she said, why didn't you come see me sooner? And the answer is because I'm a dumb man. That is the answer, right? Yeah, you agree. You're a man. We won't go to the doctor, will we? No, we don't need doctors. To hell with it, right? And I'm gonna generalize here, but every female I know is always like, why don't you go to the doctor? Just go, you idiot, go, you know? And on behalf of all the men in here, I'm going to explain to you why we don't do that. Because when we actually are sick, right, sir? When we have a cold or a flu or something, ladies, does this sound familiar? Oh, are you man sick, huh? Oh, want me to call your mummy you little fucking bitch, huh? Do you? Does your tummy hurt? Try childbirth. Try childbirth. But it was great. Quit vaping, and I promised the seal. I promised my partner I would do it, and it worked out really great because I quit vaping, and it was our anniversary, so I got a special gift from her. What she did is she got some sexy lingerie. She played some nice music and surprised me with a lingerie dance when I walked through the door. Isn't that nice, everybody? Huh? The only problem with this gift, as a man, is you cannot reciprocate that gift, all right? Right? There is no equivalent that I can do for her. Like, I can't just go to Walmart one day and pick up a 3-pack of Fruit of the Loom, you know what I mean, right? Get a Destiny's Child CD, you know what I mean, right? Right? Hide in the garage, wait for her to come home one day. Right, as soon as I see her, just whip out half a ball, you know, hey. Happy anniversary, sweetheart. Happy anniversary. Oh God, Tiger Bomb, Tiger Bomb, Tiger Bomb, Tiger Bomb! That was a weird view for you guys over there. That was very weird. Apologies, especially to you volunteers. You didn't need to see that. Love you, girls. My visa ran out in France. That's exciting times for me. I love when my visa runs out because I get to go to French government offices. I'm an immigrant over there, and I'm a hot commodity because I'm Canadian, and that's awesome. People always have questions for me when I'm in those offices. The other immigrants, I'm talking to them, they're like, wow, Canada. The number one question I get is, what's it like as a Canadian living next door to the United States? What's that like? Ooh. And I don't know about you guys. It's not like it's a zoo and there's a big glass wall and we're looking at them all the time, you know. They got the meth and the guns again. Look at them go. You know, there's a feeling there, but I just don't know how to put it into words. I can't describe it. You know, the other one I get always is it really legal in Canada to breastfeed in public? That's big news over there, and it is. It's legal. Are you guys into it? Are you public breastfeeders? Yeah, right on. Me too. Me too. I'm a big fan. And not for the douchebag reason you think I am, okay? I'm not in it for the nipple. That's not what I'm in it for. And you know exactly what I mean. There's a sweet moment in time out there, just after the breast has been unholstered, okay? And just before the dumb baby's head blocks the view. You know what I mean? If you're at the right angle of attack, you know, you can sketch a nipple out there for free. And I don't care about that. I'm not in it for the nipple. I'm from a generation of internet pornography. 1 second of a nipple does nothing for me, right? Takes a lot more to get me going. Maybe if her stepson came home early from university, you know what I mean, right? Right, now we're having fun in an airport. Now we're breastfeeding, right? Boy, that really got out of hand. I forgot where I was. Holy moly. Anyway, I'm in these government offices, right? Government offices. And it's amazing. It's the same thing. You take a number and you go talk to the French lady in charge. But it's really cool to hear these stories. These people that are going up before me, other immigrants, and they always ask, you know, where are you from, why you want to immigrate to France. And these people, like a Syrian guy was talking about bullets whizzing by his head as he made it across the border. There was an Eritrean who walked across Sudan. She, mind you, walked across Sudan, waited in a refugee camp for 4 months to get to France, and then they called my name. And I was like, oh, shit. You know? They were like, how was your trip from Canada? I was like, hey, first of all, I was on Air Canada, so that was... You think walking across the Sudan's hard? Try Gate 57 at YVR. That's a long walk. You know, I forgot my headphones. I had to raw dog the whole 12-hour flight, so... Woman next to me was breastfeeding. You guys have had enough of that one. Okay. Fair enough, Kelowna. I'm on a crazy adventure this year. I was lucky enough to go to a place called Svalbard. It's a Norwegian island in the North Pole. I was doing some shows there with an American comedian and a Norwegian comedian. You may know Svalbard. That's where the world's seed vault is. In case of nuclear disaster, we have the seed stored in the Arctic. And the other great thing about Svalbard, it is illegal for you to not carry a firearm at all times. Okay? Somebody in your party has to be carrying a gun always. And the reason is because of polar bears. There's that many polar bears on that island. So when we got off the plane, the contact for the show was like, which one of you wants to hold the gun? I was like, well, the American, obviously. That's a no-brainer, right? These polar bears have no idea what's about to hit them, you know? This is gonna be the first drive-by in polar bear history. By the end of the 2 weeks, their polar bears are wearing bandanas and crip walking, you know? We were so excited to see your polar bear, and we didn't. We were there for 14 days, did not see one polar bear, but I did see a pigeon, and now I'd like to talk to you guys about pigeons, because I've seen them in the Middle East, I've now seen them in the North Pole. These things are quite goddamn successful, you know? I've become obsessed with pigeons. I research them all the time. I'm sure you already know this, but pigeons were actually domesticated. We used them as tools of war. We would tie little messages to their legs and send them between the camps, right? And then technology progressed. We got the telegraph. We didn't need pigeons, and we just opened up the cages and let them go. And that's why we have millions of outdated Nokia T9 texting birds everywhere, right? And I watch you guys. I study humans, how you interact with pigeons. You know, you're outside eating, a pigeon will approach your table. What do? You kick the pigeon, right? You go, get out of here, dumb pigeon. I just don't want you to do that anymore. Just think about the pigeon. All he's doing is being like, hey, you want me to go tell anybody anything for you? You know, you guys kick him away, right? Kelowna, that's a goddamn war vet. You know what I mean? Have some respect, for God's sake, right? Or send them off on one more mission. You got a lady in your life? Send her a dick pic on a pigeon. You know what I mean? Wouldn't that be nice? Old-fashioned dick pic. I think that'd be great. After Norway, I went to Switzerland and go there all the time because I have 2 nieces in Switzerland. And this year we took them to a Swiss carnival. Same thing here as Canada, street carnival. They take over a city block and, you know, there's a tilt-a-whirl, there's junk food. But the first thing I noticed at a Swiss carnival is the people working at the carnival, all right? They were just normal people. They were just wearing North Face jackets, and they were like, "Hi, welcome to the carnival." I was like, "Holy shit, look at this guy." And the Swiss people with me were like, "What's wrong with you?" I was like, "Do you not hire ex-criminals to do this job, or?" They were like, "No, our children go here." I was like, "Yeah." That's the fun part about going to the carnival. You should be scared for your life, you know? What is with our culture in Canada? I remember being a kid, I went into the haunted house, and when I came out, I wasn't wearing pants. I remember that. Best night of my life. Oh, I'm gonna say something now. I'm gonna get judged. I can feel it already from this crowd. I'm gonna get judged. But I went to the country of Thailand by myself, everybody, by myself, right? I can feel it. I can feel you judging me. Eh? Straight white male in his 40s, alone in Thailand. Right? This guy went to a yoga retreat. That's what you guys are thinking, right? No, Kelowna, I was there for the prostitution. That's why I was in Thailand. That's why you go to Thailand? I'm joking, of course. It was a bucket list thing. I always wanted to be a rescue diver, so I took the time and took the course. And if you're into scuba diving, you would know the final exam to be a rescue diver is you kneel down on the seafloor with the instructor, you take off all of your gear, and then he gives you the thumbs up, and you put it all back together. If you can do that under the water, congratulations, you are a rescue diver, all right? So final exam day comes. I'm on the seafloor with the instructor and a young lady from Baltimore, and she goes first. Takes off all of her gear, the instructor gives her the thumbs up, she starts putting it together. Now, things started to go horribly wrong, all right? She started to panic, she couldn't get a respirator in, you know, eventually her eyes widened, she opened her mouth, she swallowed like a gallon of seawater. And that sounded like a pigeon, that was unintentional. It was actually a serious situation. I was literally watching somebody die in front of my eyes. But the instructor was amazing. He snapped into action. He grabbed her by the back of the ponytail, jammed the respirator in her mouth, punched her in the stomach, right? She vomited through the respirator. She started breathing again slowly. Eventually, she opened up her eyes. Everybody relaxed. The temperature started to calm down. And then he looked at me and said, "Go ahead." It was the most bizarre moment of my life, right? Because you can't communicate down there. I couldn't be like, "No, fuck you, I don't want to be a rescue diver, it's over." I quit, I'm out of here, right? I didn't know what to do, so I put on my wife beater and punched him in the stomach and went to a yoga retreat. Right, I'm gonna tell you one more story here. I wanna talk to you tonight about my friend Brad. He was one of my best friends growing up. I miss him to death. I loved Brad, all right? We went to elementary school with him, to junior high school with him, and he was one of my favorite people in the world. And Brad had a bully, and his name was Graham. And Graham was an absolute asshole, all right? He was one of those kids that was 6'5" when we were 12. He had a mustache, he was ripped to shreds, you know, he'd wear trench coats. He was a scary kid. I played hockey my whole life. I was the assistant captain of the Camrose Pirates, no big deal. But me and the hockey team decided to come up with a plan to help out our buddy Brad. What we did is we decided to convince Brad to challenge Graham to a fist fight, all right? And then what we do is before the fight started, the hockey team would go up to Graham and we'd soften him up a little bit, all right? And we'd get Graham on the ground, and then we'd take Brad and throw him on top, and Brad could get some ground and pound in, you know? And if the tables turn, then we'd hop in there and punch Graham a few more times and toss Brad back in there, you know what I mean? And your horrified silence is correct. It is a terrible thing to do to another human being. But we did it. We did that exact thing. And you know what, Kelowna? It was fucking unbelievable. It was unbelievable. It was so fun. Brad had won a fist fight. He was so proud. He stood up to his bully. But what we didn't see coming was it really went to Brad's head, all right? He started walking around school like this. He was the toughest guy, right? He'd see a teacher try to make her flinch, like, "What's up now, bitch?" You know? And so we had to calm down this situation. I was voted to go talk to Brad. One day I just walked up to him very gently and I said, "Listen, pal, I know you think you're the toughest kid in school. However," and I didn't finish my sentence because Brad was holding a pencil and he stabbed me in the leg with the pencil. All right, I am gushing blood, all right? Very true story. I was rushed to the nurse's office, and I'll never forget this. It was the principal of the school, the homeroom teacher, and the nurse was putting stitches in my leg. And the topic of conversation was what Brad's punishment should be for stabbing me in the leg. And I'll never forget the energy. It was beautiful in there, because all of us were behaving in the exact same way. We were just going like, you know, fucking Brad, you know what I mean? Huh? Fucking Brad, he doesn't know any better. Woo, crazy old Brad. We love him no matter what. Brad. Anyway, that is exactly how I feel as a Canadian living next door to the United States. That's exactly how I feel. I love you so much, Kelowna. Thank you very much.